Hello viewers, myself Dr. KSR Radhika, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, SRKR Engineering College, Bhimvaram, Andhra Pradesh. In this session, I am going to explain the semaphores of that is the part 2. So already we have explained about semaphores in the previous session. So there we have explained about what is meant by a semaphore, and also we have explained the binary semaphores, and also how we can protect the data using the semaphores. So there we have seen how we can solve the shared data problem in the application underground tank monitoring system and nuclear reactor. So now we will see, in this session we will see the other topics related to semaphores. So the main objectives of today's session are to know about the different semaphores, to explore semaphore problems, and to understand differences in methods protecting the shared data. So in the previous session already we have seen what is meant by semaphore, and also we have seen the binary semaphores. Binary semaphores means there we will have only a single semaphore with two signals. So now we will see what is meant by this multiple semaphores. So multiple semaphores means you can use more than one semaphore. So that means you can have more number of semaphores, that is many semaphores. So multiple semaphores are independent of each other. So the RTOS must identify the semaphore on which to operate. So you should identify the correct semaphore. So for example, one task takes the semaphore A, and another task takes the semaphore B without blocking. And suppose if you have four semaphores, that is A, B, C, D. So A is taken by one task 1 for example, and B is taken by task 2, and C is taken by some another task. So suppose now if another task tries to take the semaphore C, so that means here in this example A, B, C are being taken by some task, but the D is free for example, or it is being released by some another task. So now suppose if one task is waiting for semaphore C, at the same time, suppose if semaphore D is released by the some another task, even though the semaphore is D is released, the task that needs the semaphore C will not be unblocked because it wants the semaphore C. So even though this is released, so that is not the semaphore that is required by this task. So that's why if the task is waiting for semaphore C, it is still blocked even if some another task releases the semaphore D. So that means, so whatever semaphore it wants, it takes only that particular semaphore. So that means what? The semaphore A may be protecting some data, semaphore B may be protecting some data, semaphore C may be protecting some data. So whatever data it wants, then it has to take that particular corresponding semaphore whenever you are using multiple semaphores. So which semaphore is taken by which task, all these details, so it is not known by the RTOS. So the RTOS does not know which semaphore protects which data. So this should be taken care by the user. So the advantages of taking multiple semaphores is, so one advantage is it increases the response. The response is somewhat better because here the high priority task is, for example, if you see in many applications, suppose if the semaphore is taken by low priority task, if the high priority task waits for the semaphore, it will be blocked. So that means what? The response of the high priority task is somewhat low. So that's why suppose if you use multiple semaphores, then the response will be better. And another advantage is high priority tasks need not wait or block if not using the shared data. So if it is not using the shared data means no need to block or wait for the high priority task. So the RTOS does not know which semaphores protects which data. So the user has to take care of all these details. So this is what is meant by the multiple semaphores. So now we will see how the semaphores as a signaling device. Semaphores acts as a signaling device. So this is a simple printer task where it is that is here whenever a simple way to communicate between one task to another or from interrupt to task. So like this, whenever if you want to communicate, you can use the semaphore as a signaling device. So that is, for example, here this is a printer task where we are using the semaphore. So here if you see, so this is a variable that constructs the report. So here we are constructing the report, and this specifies the number of lines in your report. This specifies that is I lines total is, it specifies the total number of lines in our report, and this is it is the count of lines printed so far till now. How many lines have been printed? So, and this is the semaphore. So this is the main semaphore to wait for report to finish. So here we have two different tasks. One is vPrinter task and another one is vPrinter interrupt. So here what these tasks are doing is, so this printer task, one task is printing the job and another task is preparing the report. So here the task wait for the semaphore after it has formatted each report. So the interrupt routine, what it will do? The interrupt routine signals the task when the report has been fed to the printer by releasing the semaphore. So if you see here, if the lines printed is equal to total number of lines, so the report is done. So then what happens? So that means what? Suppose if you need to print some 10 lines, if this is the lines till now printed and this is the total number of lines. So then what happens? If all the 10 lines have been printed, this value will be 10 and this value will also be 10. So then what happens? So you can release the semaphore. So once then this semaphore will be released. Otherwise what? This is the instruction to release the semaphore. So otherwise what will happen? So the number of lines, suppose if the number of lines printed till now is only 6. So then it is less than the total number of lines, that is 10. So then what happens? So it will print the next line. So it has to print the next line. So we hardware printer output line and it is passing that particular, that is now it will print the next line. So again it will count and it will, after completing the total number of lines, it will release the semaphore. And in this task, so what you will do is, so first of all you will initialize the semaphore as already taken. So first of all initialize the semaphore and then wait for the message telling what to report to format. So here you are waiting for the semaphore. So this is taking the semaphore and this is releasing the semaphore functions. So here what we are doing, format the report into this particular variable that we have already given. So now what we are doing, we are formatting the report. So we are also counting the total number of lines. So that is specified in I lines total, and print the first line of the report. So now we hardware printer output line. So now you want to print the line. So here this data is being shared by both this task and this task. So that's why here we are taking the we are using the semaphore as a signaling device. Once it has been completed, so if you release the semaphore means you are signaling the device that here it has been completed. So then automatically this task will take the semaphore and it will continue its own job. So like this, you can also use the semaphore as a signaling device. So whenever you are using these semaphores, what are the different problems that may occur? So the different problems is, for example, suppose if you forget to take the semaphore. So if you forget to take the semaphore means what will happen? So you will get the shared data problem. So that is, you will get the shared data bugs because the data will be used by more than one task. So we will be, whenever you are using the data by more than one task, so you already, we have seen in the previous sessions how the data will be, how you will get the wrong data without using the semaphore. So this is one problem with the, suppose if you are not, if you forget to take the semaphore, you will get the problem of, that is, shared data. Another problem is forgetting to release the semaphore. So you have taken the semaphore, but you, in your code, you forgot to release the semaphore. So this is also a very worst condition. That is, what will happen? So whatever task that is waiting for this particular semaphore, that will be blocked forever. So what will happen? So it will be blocked forever. So it won't be released. So that is, forgetting to release the semaphore will lead to the task to block forever if it is waiting for this particular semaphore, because the semaphore will be with the task only. So this task cannot get the semaphore. So that's why your task will be blocked forever. Another problem is taking wrong semaphore. So in this occurs in the case of multiple semaphores. So suppose if you want to take, suppose your task needs semaphore A. So by mistake, or you have taken, instead of A, you have taken the semaphore B. So this is also as bad as forgetting to take the semaphore. And another problem is holding semaphore too long time. So another problem is holding the semaphore for too long time. Suppose if you hold for too long time, then what will happen is you may miss the deadlines. So if you miss the deadlines, what will happen? So whenever in embedded systems, suppose in some applications, if you miss the deadlines, the problems will be catastrophic. So the problems lead to catastrophic failures. So that's why, depending upon the applications, you have to control the uh, you have to control all the deadlines. And another problem is causing a deadly embrace. So that means what? Suppose both are waiting for the semaphore that is blocked by the other. So then what will happen? Both will be waiting forever. So this is another problem with semaphore. So this is priority inversion. So that is, suppose if this is an example where we can show the problem with the semaphores. Here if you see, here we have three tasks, task A, B and C. So here, this is the time of your microprocessor. So now the control is with which task? It is with the task C. So at this point, that is, now that the task C takes a semaphore that it shares with A. So that means here task A and C wants the same semaphore. So at this point, what happens is the task B gets a message in its queue and unblocks. So then immediately, suppose if it is of high priority, so then immediately the control goes to task B. So now at this point, the semaphore is with which task? It is with task C. But now you got the task B. Now the task B is executing. So now the task C here, task A is of high priority, next B, next C. So because B is of high priority than C, so that's why the control has been given to B. So now again at this point, now task A gets the message and it will unblock. So once it has been unblocked, because it is higher priority than B and C. So then now again what will happen? The control will be given to A. So after giving the control to A, then what happens? The task A now tries for the semaphore. But here I already we told that task A and C are sharing the wants the same semaphore. So but that semaphore is already blocked by C. That is, it has already taken the semaphore. The task C has already taken the semaphore. So then what happens when task A tries to get the semaphore which is already held with task C? So then what happens? Here task A will be blocked. So once the task A is blocked, so then what happens? So now these two are in the ready state, task B and C. But B is of high priority. So then what happens? The control will be given for task B. So now what happens? The task B will be executing. So even though the task A is of high priority, it is waiting for the semaphore that is blocked by task C. So now here A and C both won't get the processor time. So the task B goes on running and this is a lengthy task, for example. So never now the task C will never get the semaphore, and also because of that the task so if it gets the processor time, then only it can release the semaphore. So this is not getting the processor time, so that's why it won't release the semaphore. That's why A won't get the semaphore. So A will be blocked. So this is the problem of priority inversions. And another problem we told that deadly embrace. So that is, for example, if you take here two tasks are there. So here these are the functions. This is a function for holding the semaphore. That is for taking the semaphore, and this is the function for releasing the semaphore. So here task 1 is what it is trying. Here we have how many semaphores? 2 semaphores. So here task 1 is first it is holding for the it has taken the semaphore A, and then again it wants the semaphore B. Meanwhile in between, so this task 2 has been come into picture. So then this task B, first of all it has taken the semaphore B, because at this time the semaphore B is free. So that's why it is given to task 2. So then it is waiting for semaphore, then it wants the semaphore A, which is blocked by task 1. So that means what? Now this task 1, it holds semaphore A and waits for semaphore B. And this task B holds semaphore B and waits for semaphore A. So that means what? Both are waiting in a circular way. So this task is holding A and waiting for B, and this task is holding B and waiting for A. So this is called as deadly embrace. So here what happens? It is like deadlock. So that is like a circular wait. So both will be waiting and both will never be unblocked. So this is the problem of, so here definitely again you will get the problem of deadlines. So other semaphore variants are, you have counting semaphores, resource semaphores, which is also called as resource, and mutex semaphores, which is also called as mutex. So in depending upon the application, you can also use these different semaphores. And other ways to protect. So till now we have seen how to protect the shared data using semaphores. So so what are the different ways to protect the semaphores is, you can protect either by, first of all you can disable the interrupts. So if you disable the interrupts, automatically the interrupt is done. Once the interrupt occurs, immediately the control goes to the ISRs, that is interrupt service routine. So if you disable the interrupt routine, so then you can protect the shared data. And another one is you can use the semaphores concept for protecting the shared data. And another one is you can also disable the task switches. This is also another way you can protect the shared data. So if you disable the task switches, automatically each task will complete in full, and then only it goes to the next task. So that's why you don't have the problem of shared data. So these are the ways to protect the shared data. So now in this session we have completed so the different semaphores that can be used for shared data, and also what are the different semaphore problems, and also the methods for protecting the shared data. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.